a lot of times there's lifting and then you have to go do cardio later. And I was like, how do I combine these two things to make people feel like I got a good cardio workout and my muscles are burning? I'm good. In Insanity, I was like, go, 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 go. And in Dig Deeper, it's basically a kinesiology class as you're lifting. So I found that happy medium there to keep the workout moving, keep the people safe, cue people really well, having a lot of fun, and making them dig deeper. In that 30 minutes, the best way to get results is to commit. You press play, you have me, you have the BODi Experience community, you have this large-ass test group, the largest one ever, that you can go in and talk to people and stay motivated. The only thing I'm asking you to do is for 30 minutes a day, lock in.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the BODi Experience. This one is actually kind of interesting because it's going to be a little bit personal. I am the CEO of BODi, formerly Beachbody, and I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do for the month of December. And I'm thinking about doing Shaun T's new program called Dig In that launches on November 17th. And we are putting together our largest test group in the company's history to test this 30-day program out starting December 1st. And I'm likely going to throw myself in there, but I want to know what the details are. I want to make sure that this 62-year-old body can handle it. So to help me with that, I'm going to bring on the man himself, Mr. Shaun T. Welcome to the BODi Experience, Shaun.
Thank you. And I'm sure your 62 young self can handle it.
Well, you know what? It's funny. It's definitely not the old days of P90X and jumping around and insanity. Like, I got to be careful with these things, and I have to approach this. And I'm not saying that you know, like, I'm good for rigor. I'm good for going at it hard, but I got to just be mindful of it, because I don't want to put myself into something that I'm not going to be able to finish. So I'm going to let you kick it off for me and help because I am not aware of the finer details of the program, but I know you're super enthusiastic about it. So I want to know, look, I probably did 60 days of Dig Deeper. And then I had a vacation, and so I got sort of knocked out of that. But so I want to know how this compares to Dig Deeper, how this compares to your other programs, and just what am I in for if I start this with our test group on December 1st?
I think we have to look at the big picture of what the program is about, because I think oftentimes people want to do a program and they look for specific results when this program is a culmination of all the experience I had of, I don't even know how many programs I created with you guys, also combined with what I've been out, what I like to say, in the field learning about myself and my own body and going through transformation and getting older. And while you're 62 and I'm a young 47, I think we have some similarities. And so I created this program with the purpose of longevity in mind. And I'll get into that in a second. But just to jump in, this program is so freaking fun. It is hard enough. It's understandable enough, the concept behind it, that people can do it over and over again, feel like they're being successful every single time, and they're flowing through the workouts. But also, I created this program physically so that people could get lean, get shredded without feeling the overwhelming, joint pain that we all feel when there's a lot of jumping going on. So I'm gonna break it down for you like this. A lot of people, for many, many years, when they do a program and they feel like they need to modification has always been looked at as like the easier route, but it never really was the easier route. It was a different route for people to keep their muscles activated throughout the entire program. And when people hear insanity, they think jumping, but you don't really need to jump to get the same results that you get with insanity. And people say, well, I'm not jumping, so how is that? Where's the explosive coming from? The explosive movement, which you would normally get from jumping off the ground, now you're keeping the load, meaning the weight, in your muscles, whether it's your arms, if you're doing push-up jacks, whether it's your legs where you're doing, power jumps. You don't have to do any of that. So your body, there's a part of your body that's always on the ground that keeps loaded. So that keeps the muscles activated, which in turn helps your muscular endurance. Now I'll get to I wanted to start with insanity because that is obviously the most successful program, if you will, and most well known, I should say. And then with the dig part, with Dig Deeper, I keep the same Shaun T teaching from Dig Deeper, but I push you a little bit more, and it's very much supersetting the entire time. Because listen, I want to get this done in 30 minutes. And that's another joy. Like a lot of people are like, yo, 30 minutes is enough time for me to work out. So how do I combine the cardio element with the strength element and you not getting bored and having to break too long? And so I should just start by saying that this program is a 30-day program literally designed to keep you moving for 30 minutes, not to make you feel overwhelmed. You will still get the cardiovascular aspect, but you'll never show up to a workout saying, "Oh, I don't want my knees to hurt." Like, you'll never show up to any of these workouts like this. You're gonna show up, you're gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna have the choice as to which weight I wanna use," but all of us are doing the same thing in terms of the cardio. And so it's one of those programs that you don't have to feel less than. Like a lot of times you're like, "Oh, I can't do that." You'll never show up to this program saying, "I can't do that," because you can do literally everything we're doing and get results from it.
So how's the workout constructed? Like sometimes I'll say, like when we try to get great results in a half hour or 20 minutes, you can feel rushed, either rushed or incomplete, right? Because we're just trying to check all the boxes in 30 minutes. So if you've got lifting and low impact insanity cardio in there, how's that put together? So that what's the workout experience like?
Well, the first thing I'll say is the workout is done in 3 phases like it is in Dig Deeper. So there are 3 phases to the workout. The other thing that is completely different is I created this workout instead of saying week 1, week 2, week 3, each cycle is a 10-day cycle. And you get a rest day at the end of the 10 days, which is part of the workout, so you must rest. And then that ninth day, you'll do a workout that is one of the more intense workouts, but it actually helps you end, if you will, that phase feeling really good, feeling empowered. It's kind of like a fit test of sorts. But I'll take you through the phases just a little bit. So the first phase is basically you'll feel like you're learning. You'll feel like you're learning a little bit. The cardio, the strength is right in the pocket of someone who's never worked out before. They can do it. And those people who have done 30 rounds of insanity and P90X combined, they're also going to feel empowered and be able to do it because you can choose your weight. You can go as fast as you want in the cardio. Again, there's no jumping. Then when we go to the second phase, it's more again of that time under tension phase, kind of like in Dig Deeper. But what it does, that's a little bit differently. I push the cardio a little bit more because again, this 30 days is about you getting shredded. So the first phase, first 10 days, you're like, okay, cool. I got this. Second 10 days, it increases a little bit. The last cycle goes a little bit more. Like there's a little bit more intensity to it by way of supersetting and a lot more cardio added to the workout. Because the other thing I wanted to say that's very, very important, a lot of people see me or other professional people, whether they're a bodybuilder or they're cutting for a wedding or they want to go on vacation. The closer it gets to that wedding, that vacation, that stage show, the cardio increases. And so I wanted to show people how you can stay fit, keep lifting, get the cardio moving, but not lose muscle and just burn fat. So that's kind of like I'm trying to keep it very concise. Also, I don't want to give away too much. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be a surprise for people because as they go through this process, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, like, yo, this is cool. Like, okay, this changes, and my body's feeling this way." And also the one thing I want to say, for especially for those of you who are hesitant to do this because a lot of people think things are too hard. The way I progress this workout and teach through the workout is so spot on for everyone. So don't feel like you're going to show up not knowing what to do. And I do a lot of coaching. I only have 2 people in the workouts with me, so I coach on them with them. I actually look for, and I hate to say this, but I look for bad form within the cast so I can show them the correct form by way of helping the person at home. So I have a lot going on in my head to keep this very doable for everyone. And ultimately, I want people to get results. Like, I don't want you to not show up for the workout. I want you to show up for the workout saying to yourself, like, yo, like, I killed a game in 30 minutes.
The concept of combining dig deeper and insanity, um, even though low impact, is every day a little resistance and a little cardio. And so am I working different body parts? Like, how's that structured? Can you fill me in on that?
Each day definitely has a focus throughout the program. So you'll have chest and back. You'll have, legs and shoulders. So you're not doing a full body workout each and every day. Each day is very focused on one or two muscle groups, sometimes three, because we have a total body workout. But what's most important when we talk about the cardio, I keep the cardio element in there because a lot of times there's lifting and then you have to go do cardio later. And I was like, how do I combine these two things to make people feel like I got a good cardio workout and my muscles are burning? I'm good. So, and then again, it's not overwhelming because some days you are just focused on one or two muscle groups, not the entire body. But the full body workouts are very good too.
So is the 30 minutes completely contained, or is it like warm up, then it starts and cool down, so it's like 34 minutes? I'm just trying to understand. Like, is everything inside, or is it 30 minutes of intensity with warm up and cool down on the outside?
Well, I will say this. I kept it around 30 minutes. It doesn't get anywhere close to 40. I don't even think we might hit 34 once or twice. I'm not sure. Um, you know me, I go when the clock starts. I'm like, all right, I got 30 minutes to get this done and I move that way. But I mean, when people ask me questions like that, I'm like, you're gonna be laid out on the floor for 4 minutes anyway, so you may as well just, like, do the workout. But it is definitely in the 30-minute range, and there have been times, you know me, there have been times where I actually got done at, like, 28 minutes, and those people who have done my workouts a lot, they will know that I finished the workout early because I'm never letting 1 second go unworked. So, you'll see the little challenges I put at the end of workouts. You'll be like, "Oh, Shaun T finished early. I knew he was gonna still make me work out for 30 minutes." So, there's that surprise element of Shaun T as well within that 30 minutes, but it is definitely, I say 30 minutes. It's not like max 30 where it's 30 minutes every single workout where I timed it like that. Because the other thing that is very important is safety. Whenever you're working out with weights, dumbbells, number one, you're working out on a bench. Everybody has a different bench at home. You know, not everything is as stable. So I have to give you so many cues to be very safe in the workouts. And then, as you know, in Insanity, I was like, go, 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 go. And in Dig Deeper, I'm teaching you could it's basically a kinesiology class as you're lifting. So I found that happy medium there to keep the workout moving, keep the people safe, cue people really well, getting and being able to activate the muscle that they want to activate, having a lot of fun, and making them dig deeper. These are all the things that go through my head while I'm creating these so that I can
Yeah.
touch on everything.
So, so I want to get at real talk here because we have never run a test group this large at the same time that we're launching a program with December in mind, meaning to ask people. And I know for me, people would normally be like, okay, let me start thinking about what I'm going to start after Christmas. So some people wait for January 1st, some people start December 26th, whatever. This is starting December 1st, and people are going to be wrapping up with their after photos when normally they're getting ready to take their before photos. Now, I have my own theory
Okay.
or my own mentality around this, but I want to hear yours, your mentality around approaching a transformation program for 30 days while the holidays are going on. What's your feeling about that?
Okay, so I always preface something, and I'm gonna say this a little harsh, with hashtag tough trainer alert, Shaun T is coming. I mean this with love, and I mean it because I care. I think it is people finding excuses at the end of the year to not work out. I think it's people being lazy. I was actually just I was just talking about, even if you look at Thanksgiving Day, people find a reason to eat more food when they don't have to. I'm like, "Eat breakfast, eat your post-workout meal, and then when you actually eat your Thanksgiving meal, you can be happy, you can be excited about it. You can be like, 'Yo, I ate 2 meals in that,' and then you move on." But what happens is people look at these holidays as a time to literally unbuckle their seatbelt and jump out of the wagon. And and in our society actually enables that. They're like, "It's the end of the year. You're gonna do this," and then all of this stuff starts coming out. "Oh, you can do this in the new year and this in the new year." This is why I'm so happy that we wanted to push this even before Thanksgiving, because why are you changing anything? Because as you know, I've always been a person. I'm like, everything in moderation. Not everyone needs to be a fitness model. I even don't like when people say they want to look like me on my show day. I'm like, you don't want to look like that. We want to feel good. You don't want to look like that because I'm miserable, right? I'm just being honest, right? I'm there for a sport. So this whole the end of the year, like, I'm going to parties, I'm doing this, I'm going to let myself go. I'm like, really? Like, you're going to work hard all year for literally, like, you may go to 4 parties. You may go to 4 parties. You got 2 holidays, depending on what religion you are, right? Like, this is I think it's absurd. I think it's unnecessary for people to do that. Okay, you gain a couple pounds, fine. But I'm like, you people go above and beyond to go the opposite way. Now, I'll get to what you were saying. I'm in line with you. We should be excited about showing our after photos of the first round of this program at the end of the year. Do you know how many people you are going to inspire when you say, "Well, the last 6 weeks of the year, I still enjoyed my holiday. I still had fun. I still ate the foods, the fun foods, but I still got incredible results." I think we have an opportunity here to teach people that this whole end of the year bullcrap of gaining weight is just absolutely unnecessary, because you can still have fun eating, spending time with your family, and staying absolutely healthy. I think the last thing I want to say is, I'm glad you started out with your age, and I was kind of joking. I'm 47 years young. I mean, you're older than me, so but I remember, I've known you for 20 years. Like, this month, 20 years ago, November is when I signed the contract to start working with Beachbody, right? But
Crazy.
I knew you when you were 42. Do you know what I'm saying? And I remember looking at you in the P90 commercial. I'm like, "Damn, this guy's ripped as hell. Like, this is crazy." And to see you still digging deep, doing Dig Deep or doing the other programs, in that big field you got with your flex. I know you're flexing with all this, whatever. I'm always laughing at you. I'm like, "Oh, really? You need all that space? You're not that tall, Carl." But I'm kidding around, but I'm like, you are the epitome of consistency, and so am I, right? Like, the last 20 years we've been doing it. So what we're saying here is, you don't have to. Yeah, there are times that things happen in your life, but don't purposely make things happen every year so that you backtrack and have to gain your gains back. It doesn't make sense to do that.
Yeah, and look, I think that's I appreciate you saying that. That's my own breakthrough for me, is when I stopped looking at fitness about being about the transformation. Because you can always sort of rationalize, "Hey, you know what? I don't need the transformation right now. I don't have vacation plans. I don't there's nothing, summer's a little bit of ways." And when I started to instead prioritize the fact that I don't want to be sick. Like, when you're pushing your body through a half hour of discomfort a day, like when you're pushing yourself, you're flexing your immune system, and all of these interactions and hormonal balances that the body now has to work to keep you well. So when I started to prioritize, hey, I don't want to be sick, I don't want to feel broken, which means that every day I show up, I'm keeping my blades sharp so that I feel good, because I want to feel good every day. Now, the good news is, the consequence of that is my clothes fit better than they ever have, meaning I feel better in my own skin, and I'm not trying to fit into jeans that just aren't at that season for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything fits, and I feel good in my skin because that consistency of the prioritization of my well-being is what's serving me now. So as I go into, hey, look, holiday parties, you know, the few days, like, look, it's not a feast for 30 days. You got a couple feasts in there, but the ability to navigate the feast and feel good about yourself is like a gift to me. And so that's why it's like where normally I would be like, hey, I'm going to contemplate this for January 1st. I'm like, no, no, no. My life, my well being is important to me every day of the year. And particularly, like, I can't speak for you 40 somethings, but I'll speak for us 50 and 60 somethings that taking a month off or taking it easy and letting it go is twice as hard to get it back. So you can't afford to not be in a program. And there's something about, having that challenge going into the first of the year and knowing that you're going to be at your stride. You're not going to have to reconstruct your habits, your mornings, your nutrition. Like you're in the zone all the time. So personally, I hope people do it, not just because of the test group, but I think that's fun. We're all going to be doing this together inside the BODi Experience community. I'm expecting to see you in there from time to time because I'm going to be asking you questions and we're going to be talking shit back and forth to each other.
I'll be in there.
You know,
Yeah.
um, and I want that T-shirt. Like anybody who comes into that test group and then does the homework, shares their before and afters, gives us their results because we got to validate that this is as good as you say it's going to be. Then they're going to get that T-shirt and they're going to be part of, they're going to have bragging rights that they did this first. So I'm in, man. I'm doing this
Yeah,
and I'm excited about it.
you said something really important that I've said for a long time, even when I was younger. Um, like the body is forever going to change. I mean, your body's gonna change forever, whether you work out or not. So why not chase the feeling? Because if you chase the feeling, you're always focused on trying to feel good. A lot of people feel bad because they don't move. And then you said something else where, I use examples of like a wedding or a beach, but if that's the only time you're working out, then you've fallen into situational exercise. And situational exercise is not consistent exercise. Your goal is a situation. Your goal is not longevity. Your goal is not internal health. Your goal is not showing up to your doctor's appointments to be praised for staying healthy. You're getting fit so that you can look good for photos on Instagram. That's what situational exercise is. But what we're trying to tell you is we want to combat this end of the year, this 5 pounds that everybody gains a year. They don't gain it over the full year. They gain it over the last 6 weeks of this month of this year. And so what we're saying is chase the feeling, go into this. And for me, as a person who created this, the hardest thing about this program, and is the hardest thing for me, the hardest thing for anybody, even fitness professionals, is committing to every single rep within the workout. That's the hardest part of the workout. Committing to the rep once you've done it, picking weight that is going to challenge you, staying in the cardio even when it gets a little tough. There's no jumping, so your muscles are going to constantly be worked, but commit. In that 30 minutes, the best way to get results is to commit. Like you press play, you have me, you have the BODi Experience community, you have this large ass test group, the largest one ever that you can go in and talk to people and stay motivated. The only thing I'm asking you to do is for 30 minutes a day, lock in and listen and do what I tell you to do only because I know it's going to work.
Can I tell you something that another realization I've had? Because it's funny, 62, been running this company 27 years. And literally, Sean, I am still uncovering like, "Oh, that's how these people that work out all the time, that's what they get out of this." Because how they talk about the endorphins and runner's high and all that stuff. I've never experienced it. Like, I've never I like, I've always disliked the exercise part. But this is something that I realized the other day is, that fight that I have with myself for that 30 minutes, I go in there, and I'm just gonna do what I can do, give it whatever intensity I've got available to me that day. But here's the thing, and I hope people hear this and maybe a little light bulb goes off. That fight that you had for that 30 minutes, even though it's such a tiny part of your day, that thing reverberates, it echoes through the whole day. Like, as you're doing the rest of your day, you're still remembering that battle that you won for that 30 minutes, and you're already thinking about, "I'm gonna go back into that battle, that same beast tomorrow, and I'm gonna show up for it." And even though it's just that little 30 minutes, it's like, you know how people play video games and they get off on it, they do that for like, this is your own personal video game that you experience, and it colors the rest of your day with your capacity for achievement and hanging through something and dealing with pain and being uncomfortable and working through it. Like, it has such a resounding impact on the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm telling you, like, this is it. This is it. I always tell people, like, fitness is not just about the physique. It feels really good to be strong. It feels really good to fit into your clothes, to look good naked, as people say. But this, I've always said, and you touched on it, so I'm going to go here. When you are pushing yourself for 30 minutes a day and you get about 7 minutes in when it starts to get hard, and that's when the fatigue starts to set in, your pores start to open. That's when you start to sweat. You start to feel uncomfortable. You have to push yourself. You do that for 30 minutes a day, the rest of the day is gonna be amazing because you've already gotten uncomfortable. You've already proven to yourself. And so many people, so many of my testimonials are obviously they worked out and they got a better body, but they're like, this is actually helping me in my life, my relationship, my job, because the endorphins that I can't believe you never experienced this before. Like that feeling of, but though that feeling of the commitment that you committed to yourself, it literally is the first splash, the wave that push you through the rest of your day, and that's why I always tell people, I mean, I tell people to work out when you can, but that's why I love working out in the morning because, man, or even let's say I do work out in the afternoon. The minute I walk into the gym or the minute I walk into my studio and do one of my workouts, I'm so hyped because I know the outcome of this is another board, meaning you were talking about a board game. I'm like, cool. This is what I felt today. Like imagine I'm gonna be at board 30 at the end of this 30 days. And like I always tell people, look back to see how far you've come. This is a process that if you actually focus on and really give it your all, you get there's a lot more benefits than just the weight loss.
All right, man. Well, I'm in. I'm gonna start it December 1st. I'm actually between now and December 1st, I'm gonna taper back a little bit so that I can bring all my intensity for 30 days. Like, I'm not gonna fresh start December 1st. So I'm sort of preparing, do some dig deeper, a little bit of 25-minute speed train, a little bit of track Pilates, some yoga, flexibility, but I'm gonna taper it so that December 1st, I can truly dig in. So I'm excited to do it with you, man.
Let's go. Well, thanks again for another opportunity to help change people's lives. And you guys get out there and do it, commit to it. But I do like what you said. Like, yeah, I want people to stream it right away. But if you want to go back to dig deeper, or like, Carl's going to do like what I like to call a little cross training or whatever, that's a great thing to do. And then you jump into the test group and you go. But we're going to be in the test group. I'm gonna be in there a couple times a week, like really motivating you guys. You're gonna have a great first video to give you the lowdown so everyone knows what to expect. And like we did, what is it, 2009 Insanity came out, was that 16 years ago? And we're back to giving out a shirt, but for the test group, like finish the program, get the shirt, represent the fact that you dug in.
Yeah, you don't get the shirt if you don't do the test group. And, what's interesting, we have the affiliate program, and a bunch of people are coming back to be affiliates because they know because they can invite a bunch of people to come into the test group, because that's sort of easy money. People are like, oh, I'm going to be in a test group for this thing. So they're bringing 5, 6, 7 people in. Those people want the t-shirt. It's really bringing the whole ecosystem alive in December and November. Like, it's crazy. So it's a really exciting time, and going to be a great way for us to pick up momentum as we go into January 1st. So
Let's roll.
once again, Shaun T, man of firsts.
Let's go.
I love it. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for being on the BODi Experience, Shaun, and I'm excited to do this. If you're thinking about doing this with us, you're just going to need some dumbbells, you're going to need a bench, and you're going to need the will to dig in. But you're going to be doing it with Shaun T himself. You're going to be doing it with the CEO of the company, and I promise you I'll be struggling, but I will put up my sweaty selfie in that group every single day, and we're going to put up some numbers. So hope you're going to do it with us, and I hope you enjoy this particular BODi experience for the month of December. All right, I'll see you in the digging group.